Sonic and the Black Knight came out in 2009 on the Nintendo Wii system. It is the first game in Sonic's history that it shows him having a sword and using it in combat. Some of you guys already know how I feel about this game personally, but this is not for that. Back on topic, I think Sonic having a sword and having some sort of special glove to carry that sword is honestly really cool, and it makes Sonic have some kind of swagger. But what if I were to tell you that there is another game that has Sonic utilizing a sword? It's no ordinary sword. It's one of my personal favorite swords in gaming history, the Buster Sword. Allow me to introduce you guys to Sonic Final Fantasy. I will warn you guys that Sonic Final Fantasy story is kind of all over the place, but I'll just give you guys a quick synopsis of what this is about. I think to start this off, we'll talk about the Buster Sword. The Buster Sword in Sonic Final Fantasy is actually a really important tool because it's essentially a key or tool necessary to open a gate, and what that gate is, we don't really know yet. But we do know that someone named Cain is looking for the sword, and Cain, whoever that person may be, has sent out various different people like Aeon the Hedgehog out for this sword to retrieve it. Eventually, this sword was sent into Sonic's dimension, and Tails ends up finding it. Then he hands it over to Sonic, and then Sonic just utilizes it from there. Now, as you guys saw from the images behind me, he's typically in Super Sonic when he utilizes it. And this is because when Sonic harnessed the power of the Chaos Emeralds, it actually gets engraved onto the Buster Sword, which is why it turns red. And this essentially makes it a more powerful and devastating sword, which is also why the antagonist would need the Buster Sword and the Chaos Emeralds to kind of get the most out of the Buster Sword. Now, other than the Buster Sword that is really important in this series, the main objective that Sonic has is just to save his world like usual, and to protect the sword that he has. Now again, this isn't a 100% retelling on Sonic Final Fantasy because again, the story's kind of all over the place sometimes. Overall, that's the premise. Hopefully we do see more episodes of Sonic Final Fantasy, but considering that this game's been going on since the early 2010s, I don't really know. We do have a preview for episode 7, but who knows? For those of you guys that know about this series right here, let me know what you think about it. For those of you guys that don't, are you willing to give the series a try?